The 2013 Alabama Farm of Distinction competition featured 4 outstanding farms from across the state. These operations are judged on their management, conservation, and environmental practices, as well as the overall appearance of the farm. The Alabama Farm City Committee sponsors the Farm of Distinction program with the purpose of encouraging the development and retention of outstanding farms and promoting a better relationship between rural and urban people. There were nominees from 4 geographic districts across Alabama. Judges reviewed the applications and then personally visited each of the farms before making a decision. Judges were Ray Hilburn, Membership Director of the Alabama Poultry and Egg Association; Tammy Powell, Retired County Agent with the Alabama Cooperative Extension System; and Keith McCurdy, Vice President of First South Farm Credit. Here are this year's Farm of Distinction District winners. Ray and Dell Bean of Calhoun County didn't set out to be full-time farmers. But when a chemical explosion in India prompted Ray's employer to shut down its Anniston plant, the couple took a leap of faith.
They offered me a job in Trenton, New Jersey, and Dell said she wouldn't take 2 little boys to Trenton, New Jersey to try to raise them, so we took our 401k that we had built with Monsanto and made a down payment on 2 poultry houses.
The Beans already had a small beef cattle herd, which started with 6 heifers Ray received as payment for feeding and caring for his uncle's cows. The poultry and beef combination worked well, and the Beans soon built 2 more chicken houses. Although Monsanto later called Ray back to work, the physical demands of the poultry houses on Dell's health led to him returning to the farm full-time. Today the couple has 954 acres, including 400 near East Aboga and a timber operation in neighboring Talladega County.
We run 200 brood cows. We try to run a spring and a fall calving group and try to utilize the same bulls with those to help keep our costs down.
The Beans, however, aren't content to just make a profit. They're also committed to improving the land that sustains their lifestyle. They're past recipients of the Tyson Foods Environmental Stewardship Award and the Soil and Water Conservation Operator of the Year Award.
This farm has 5 ponds on it that we water from. They all overflow from one to the other by means of a grass waterway. We have neighbors all the way around, so we really have to do our best to try to manage our litter. We observe the buffer lines. Days when the wind's blowing like this, we don't try to spread.
The Beans' stewardship is evident from the time visitors pass through the gates of Dell-Ray Ranch. Pristine white fences border lush green pastures where cattle crossings facilitate rotational grazing. Perched atop the hill is Ray and Dell's home. But it wasn't always so beautiful. During his junior and senior years of high school, Ray worked for the previous owner, clearing trees with a bulldozer and picking up rocks. After years of neglect, the place was a mess when Ray and Dell bought it.
It was so bad, Dell said, I don't want anything to do with that farm. I brought her up here to where the house is now, and I told her, I said, this can be a pretty place, but it's going to take a heap of work to get it. So we set out to do it.
Almost 20 years after they took a leap of faith and built their first chicken houses, the Beans continue to work side by side.
We are the workforce here. If Dell doesn't do it or I don't do it, it just don't happen. We've always worked together. I don't know how anybody could do it without a spouse that was as much help and as willing to work as she is.
Dell is the former chairman of the Alabama Farmers Federation State Women's Leadership Committee, and Ray has served on the state committees for both beef and poultry. That's Dell-Ray Ranch in Calhoun County. Dee River Ranch in Pickens County is more than a productive grain and beef cattle operation. It's a laboratory where 3 generations of the Dee family challenge themselves to increase profitability and improve their land. from precision technology and the on-farm production of biofuels to electronic animal identification and computerized irrigation systems, the D's use their 10,000-acre farm to develop practices that will benefit their family and community.
We raise approximately 4,000 acres of corn, wheat, and soybeans, around 1,000 head of commercial Brahma Angus cross cattle. It's a wonderful place where we live and farm. We're blessed to be right here, excited about the operation we have.
The youngest of 12 siblings who own the ranch, Mike D. is farm manager, while his sister Annie serves as president. Together, the D's are redefining sustainable agriculture.
Sustainability is what we live for. We would never do anything to sacrifice this land or to do anything that would hurt the soil, hurt our operation, because we want to keep farming not just the next 3 or 4 years. We're talking about the next 3 or 4 generations that we want to make a living off this land, improve this land, and have our lives right here. We live here, we work here, and this is our life.
The D's have adopted precision agriculture practices, including installation of a farm-wide wireless network and the use of auto-steer tractors. They've also earned recognition for environmental stewardship, including the USDA Excellence in Conservation Award. Their biggest investment in the farm to date, however, is a new irrigation system featuring a 115-acre reservoir and computerized pumping station.
Irrigation is not going to make a crop on its own, but irrigation is like an insurance policy. It will help a crop survive if we manage it right, and it will make a good crop better. We get 56 to 60 inches of annual rainfall, but it's not during the growing season. So if we can capture that winter runoff, hold that, utilize that in the growing season, it's just so much more potential that we have in our crop.
The D's also embrace technology in their beef cattle operation. According to Mike, electronic identification not only enhances herd health and management, but it also helps maintain consumer trust.
And some people are worried about too much information, people knowing too much about their livestock, but we feel that animal identification is a way of helping consumer confidence. You know, if there's a problem, if there's a food safety issue, I'd like that issue to be resolved as quickly as possible to be able to get the confidence back in the consumer. That's the number one key is to resolve any issues.
The D's work to build confidence in the food supply by hosting farm tours for school children, rural medical scholars, elected officials, and even other farmers. It's just another way D River Ranch is working to sustain the operation for future generations.
You know, we're not just trying to protect the land, we're trying to improve the land every opportunity we get.
Mike and Annie hold leadership positions in the Alabama Farmers Federation, Alabama Cattlemen's Association, and United Soybean Board, among others. That's D River Ranch in Pickens County. At Oakview Farms in Elmore County, Joe and Patty Lambrick have learned if you mill it, they will come. In fact, once customers got a taste of Joe's stone-ground cornmeal, they wanted more. Today, the Lambricks grow hydroponic lettuce, honey, blueberries, strawberries, Brussels sprouts, eggs, and the list just keeps going.
We started out with cornmeal. That was our first thing, making cornmeal. Cornmeal grew into grits, and it just kept on growing. Grits grew into flour. We started making bread, then we needed honey, so that started us into bees. So we got our bee colony set up, and then we kept growing into the lettuce. And after the lettuce, we had to expand that from one house to two. Then, of course, we have our blueberries, we have our strawberries, and all of other products. And just each one has grown, made the other one produce more.
Joe and Patty, who are both retired from off-farm jobs, supply farm-fresh products to neighbors, gourmet chefs, and Marriott restaurants on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail. Joe says honesty is the key to keeping customers.
They can come and see Patty now. They know that we tell everybody we eat it first. If it's not good enough for my family, then we won't sell it. They ask us a question about the crop, what we do to it, we tell them exactly what we've done. We don't put any false hope in their mind that it's organic or not organic or GMO or non-GMO.
Because Oakview Farms is located in a growing suburban community, people might think the Lambricks would have complaints from neighbors. To the contrary, the burgeoning area provides the couple a built-in market.
We sit in the middle of about 5,000 houses. So we really hadn't had the issues that they see. The only thing we have is support, to tell you the truth. We really just have, what are you doing next and when can we get it? We feel like we'll have strawberries in end of March, April, and leading right into the U-pick of the blueberries, so each one of those will just feed the same market.
One crop at Oakview Farms is always in season: education. With every pound of grits or quart of blueberries, the Lambricks provide novice cooks and school children a lesson on how to grow and enjoy farm fresh products. In fact, interest in local grains led to Patty spending countless hours in her kitchen, perfecting recipes for the home baker.
You know, when Patty started making bread, we needed a recipe for bread bakers. Because of the cost of it, it worked every time. So Patty developed a recipe for bread. If you use her ingredients and her recipe, you're going to make a good loaf of bread every time.
The Lambricks regularly give presentations to master gardener groups and host tours for school children. Some of their chef clients even visit the farm to pick their own produce.
Patty and I speak a good bit to anybody who will listen to us. We show them where food comes from. People still don't remember. They think it comes from Walmart. They have no idea that egg is in that chicken box in there, or this lettuce is grown here in the field, or the blueberries.
Joe and Patty are leaders in local and state agricultural organizations, including the Alabama Farmers Federation and the Resource Conservation and Development Council. That's Oakview Farms in Elmore County. For more than 2 decades, James and Joan Malone of Mobile County have dedicated their lives and farm to educating children and adults about the blessings and responsibilities of land ownership. Part cowboy and part motivational speaker, James champions the benefits of stewardship as executive director of the Alabama Treasure Forest Association. In recent years, the Malones have focused on transforming their Southern Heritage Land and Livestock Company into an example of modern conservation practices.
We have a little over 700 acres of timberland that we're using now for a silvopasture operation as well. We brought in cattle about 8 or 9 years ago to help us control cogon grass and as a management tool, but it has actually turned into a potential cash operation. We also use horses to work the cattle. We were developing an agro-tourism opportunity with the rest of our family around the horses and cattle and our land as well.
Perhaps the Malones' greatest legacy, however, is an education program started with other forest landowners.
Classroom in the Forest started out originally as an adopt-a-school program, and we developed a conservation education program that promotes the values of the family forest landowner and how that family forest landowner provides for society as well as himself and his family. That program started with 32 children, 2 teachers and 4 parents, and now is probably a little over 200,000 children who have gone through that program.
Each year, the Malones host about 1,000 people for farm tours, farm adventures, and leadership training. One of the Malones' newest programs is the 23rd Psalm Ministry. James, whose first paying job was training horses, adopted the program by applying the famous scripture to farming.
I did not really become a true horse trainer till I understood how important the 23rd Psalm was, not only to our everyday life, but in my ability to take that and apply it to training a horse or any animal for that matter. But the 23rd Psalm starts at the very basic, I shall not want. And once a man or a woman understands that the Lord can provide that, then they're on their journey. Once an animal learns that his master can provide that for him, then the training journey begins.
While the Malones remain dedicated to educating the public about farming and conservation, Their top priority is passing on a love of the land to their family.
We now have the fifth generation born here, and our expectation for our children and grandchildren and now our great-grandchild is that they'll love this land as much as we do, but they'll love it for their own reasons. We're letting them find their path, and we're letting them find it on their own and their passion. If they have a passion for something here on the farm, they'll stay on the farm.
The Malones are leaders in local, state, and national organizations, including the National Network of Private Forest Landowners and the University of Mobile Forest Learning Center. That's Southern Heritage Land and Livestock Company in Mobile County. Those are the finalists for Alabama's Farm of Distinction. They represent the best of Alabama agriculture. Their innovation, hard work, and stewardship have earned them the respect of their neighbors from the farm and the city. Now let's meet these farmers in person as they receive their individual awards. Today, one of them will be named the 2013 Alabama Farm of Distinction.